Greetings. Mac Drinker here from Activate Your Hidden Power and the book How to Activate the Hidden Power of God in You. Today I'll be sharing a little bit about what I do and where I come from. And as an author, my focus is on self-healing, personal development, and my work examines a range of techniques including meditation, affirmation, visualization, prayer, and self-hypnosis that are designed to facilitate individual growth and well-being. For those unfamiliar with these approaches, I provide an introductory guide, which is guided meditation, as a foundation principle to activate the energy and vibrational states and frequencies to elevate you to a higher level. This research investigates the relationship between conscious engagement and universal and natural laws. And we incorporate these universal and natural laws into our meditation practice as a way to create love, honesty, empathy, self-respect, and respect of others. And I think in doing that, we are opening up a sure way in our conscious mind so we are able to actually manifest that which we desire and healing and success. Now, when you think about meditation, affirmation, visualization, self-hypnosis, and prayer, we think of how we use the conscious mind, elevating the frequency to a state where we can be successful. If you would Google a program called a Gateway Program, the Gateway Program is a program designed by the CIA to promote an easier and quicker way for altered state of mind. This program was designed by the Monroe Institute. And the Monroe Institute will use sound frequency to help the individual get into this altered state of mind faster so that they will be able to enhance certain abilities and certain talents of the person. And the CIA used this program well. So along with these programs, they not only use sound frequencies, but binaural sounds, which we now can see that they are using these binaural beats to help you get in an altered state of mind. And they also use binaural beats for self-hypnosis. So my program is taking a lot from that program because in actuality, I was part of the program. So in the late 1980s, between 85 and 1989, I was in a program called the Vietnam Peace Program. The Vietnam Peace Program was a program for veterans with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. And the research was designed to find a name and a way they could treat veterans with severe combat stress. Along with these techniques was meditation, was self-hypnosis, biofeedback, psychotropic medications, and relaxation therapy. So a lot of my research come from those different paradigms. And I've not only used them, but I've enhanced them in a way where you can use them for self-healing, you can use them for creating a higher potential and clarity in your goals, and you can also use them for ultimate success. And it's a proven way to get rid of the baggage and get rid of a lot of the things we see on news and in reality as a whole. High crime rates, and they'll say that crime rates are lower, but we see it every day on TV. And when you see these things, you're talking about moral and natural laws. These are negative natural laws, laws of right and wrong that affect our consciousness in negative ways, which lower our frequencies. So we are actually enhancing these negative attributes, creating anxiety, and it stop us from getting where we want to go. So this is my introduction to you of who I am, how I use these meditation practices, and how they can enhance your ability to cure yourself from anxiety, to cure yourself from depression and stress, and to heal your body. So there's a range of ways you can use my program to enhance your ability to reach your goals.
So you've kind of laid out, so for over the last 2 to 3 weeks, you've been giving us the universal laws, you've been giving us your principles and how you implement them into your meditation. What do you think is the biggest effect it's had on you since, your transformation from feeling like being ailed by PTSD, and like what has like proclaimed you to where you are right now?
So I've used and understood the 12 universal laws as an intrinsic principle for awareness. So once we've studied the 12 universal laws, it's basically giving us things that we already know, like the law of oneness, of wholeness. And we know everything in the world is created in oneness. The law of vibration. We know that everything vibrates throughout the universe. We talk about the law of correspondence, and we know that in the law of correspondence that everything is relative to another thing. We talk about the law of attraction. Each and every day we're attracting things that we don't want. And when you understand the universal laws and how they affect our daily lives, then you are able to be aware of the things that's happening into your life and correct them. So there are only tools that we can use to correct how we are making decisions in our life each and every day. But when we talk about the universal laws, and we think about the universal laws, we have to go back to what scientists call the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory, the reason I take it back to there because Dr. Malachi York, Z York, what we called a master teacher at the time, had a book called The Holy Tablets. And he explained in the Holy Tablets that before there was any lifelessness, there was what they call biops quartz, Quarks, quartz, who scientists have recently found that exists in atoms, that in the protons and neutrons of atoms. There was biops and there was zeolites. You're not going to find this information in a science book, but this is unseen information that they now scientists say could be representative in the protons and neutrons of the nucleus of an atom. And we also understand that atoms create molecules. 2 or more atoms are going to create molecules, and molecules are making up our cells, our organs, and everything that's in us, a physical being. So he talks about that. He talks about before pre-creation, there was a dot. And that dot turned into a line. And that line turned into a square. And that square turned into a circle. So when he talked about that, I had to open my mind. Oh, what is this all about? So all this is happening before weightless hydrogen, something that could be seen, or something that, through a microscope. So I thought about that. I said, well, so we're living in a world where vibrations and frequency are being thrown at us every day, but we don't see them. So using these universal laws and understanding how they're affecting us daily, along with the natural and moral laws, is our way. This is an easy way to understand why you're being affected by what's going on today, why you're being affected by news, why you're being affected about circumstances, why you're being affected by events. So when you're meditating, and when you are using affirmations, when you are using visualization, when you are using prayer, when you are using self-hypnosis, everything that you're doing in your meditation is activating these universal laws. So when you're activating these universal laws, you want to stay true to yourself. How do you stay true to yourself? You stay true to yourself by incorporating your moral laws, your honesty, your love, self-respect, compassion. So now you're incorporating these moral laws, And then you also have to think about the natural laws of right and wrong. Now you are beginning the process of manifestation. So you are actually incorporating the God-like man in you. So it's very important that we understand how universal laws are affecting us each and every day, and how they are affecting the decisions we make in our lives. But if you stay true, like I say, to the moral laws and understand natural laws of right and wrong, you can't miss. Your manifestation is going to come to reality. And we have to understand that. If you're doing it the opposite way, then you're going to get a negative effect, which is going to lower your frequencies, and you're going to basically be left behind. Because we are trying to activate the godlike man in our reality. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's why it's very important that we understand the universe was created for nothingness. And from nothingness came geometry, geo, que, earth. And from the geometry came the dimensions. And from dimensions came the vibrations of all existed life. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it's important to first understand these universal laws, how they are affecting us through our prayer, through our visualization, through our affirmations, and through our self-hypnosis. Because if you look at self-hypnosis, we are hypnotizing ourselves each and every day. If we don't do it, someone else is going to do it. Someone else is going to do it.
And if you had a word to describe what your life was like before knowing all that information, what would that word be?
Before I understood biofeedback and how frequencies, especially frequency, react in our life, and how our thoughts and feelings create the frequencies through the vibrations of the universe. I was what you would call living in hell. Let me tell you a story about that. So when you go in the military, back then, when you went into military, the first thing they gave you when you went into basic training was your gear, your uniform. They give you a helmet. They gave you combat boots. They gave you a belt. They gave you your gear. Along with their gear, they gave you a New Testament Bible. So, yeah, they gave you a little New Testament Bible. Some of them was green, some was black. It didn't matter what color, but you had this with you. So now I'm wondering I'm going into the military. It's the Vietnam War, and I have a Bible. I have all my gear, but I have this Bible. So I'm reading this Bible daily, so they wouldn't give it to you if they didn't want you to read it. And I come from a very Christian background. And so when I got to Vietnam, everything was contrary to the Bible. It was like living hell. Death all around you. Explosions. Rifle fire. Artillery guns. Napalms. I mean, this is constantly every day. But I stuck with the Bible. I kept reading the Bible. Even though I was in this so-called hell, I found some solace in reading it and understanding how it was affecting me at the time. So things happen in war that's unexplainable. So you could see something coming at you, but it hit somebody else, creating trauma. You can see guys dying around you, but it's not coming to you. So you have to connect this with something. Me, I was connected to the little green New Testament Bible because what it did was open me up to awareness. I was aware that a lot of guys was getting injured or getting killed that didn't have to if they only had been aware of where they were and how they was doing things. Now, after Vietnam, I dropped the Bible. When I got back home, I dropped the Bible. I started using drugs, street drugs. And now I'm introduced to a new type of hell, a new type of paradigm, right? I got away from the Bible. I got away from prayer. I got away from meditation. So I'm living in a different type of hell. And I don't mind telling you, it was like $800-900 a day heroin, cocaine habit. Pure hell. And that went on for several years before it was noticed that, okay, the VA said this guy have a serious problem. He's not the only one having a serious problem. We have other combat veterans that's having problems as well. So that's when I was introduced to biofeedback, which we talk about the Gateway program. I was in a hospital 6 months. 6 months in the hospital. Biofeedback, meditation, relaxation therapy, psychotropic medication. So all these different treatment modalities was being used. And this was a pilot program where the normal veteran going to the VA hospital wasn't getting. This was only for combat veterans, decorated combat veterans that they could prove that was in combat for an extended period of time. They didn't know about post-traumatic stress at the time. It was called combat fatigue, combat stress. So because we was in a closed environment, inpatient environment, so I was able to reach out to my doctors and get an explanation of the treatments that they was giving me. Mm-hmm. And most of the treatments that they was giving me was meditation, relaxation therapy, affirmation, prayer, and self-hypnosis, along with psychotropic meditation. Mm. So I'm seeing myself get better. Now it's going to take a long time, but I'm practicing these methods, these techniques that I have used in my book. And I got better and better. It seemed like I was coming more and more from hell to purgatory to reality. And it took, like I said, it took a while. I didn't quite understand what was going on. So out of the hospital, away from my treatment, away from the prayer, away from the meditation, away from the relaxation therapy, back into hell. From back in hell to back into the program, the Vietnam Peace Institute program, another 6 months of inpatient therapy, the same treatment. So I come to the conclusion that if I could do these treatments in an in-hospital type environment and use them at home as well, that I would be able to some type of way manage the post-traumatic stress disorder. Because out of all the research and treatment of the combat veterans in the Vietnam Peace Institute came the DSM, a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. Mm-hmm. So we was like living guinea pigs in a way.
Sure.
To get the diagnosis for the DSM-3, I think at the time, for post-traumatic stress disorder. Throughout the years, I continued to use meditation, relaxation therapy, incorporating prayer and self-hypnosis to heal, to actually heal the post-traumatic stress disorder, to not only just manage it, but to be able to recognize anniversary dates, to be able to recognize when the anger is coming. And let me say this now, I like not only was it hell, I took people through hell. My family, my friends, 3 ex-wives.
Misery loves company.
Pardon me?
Misery loves company.
Misery loves company. And all the time I thought it might have been them, the reason I couldn't stay in a relationship, but it was me. So most of the time when I was alone, I would reach back for the Bible. I would reach back for meditation. I created different affirmations that I could say every morning. I did a grateful gratitude list. You know, I created certain prayers. I wrote down certain scriptures from the Bible. Yes. And I practiced them each and every day. And it took years for me to realize that this is what I need. I didn't need the marijuana. I didn't need the alcohol. I didn't need the cocaine. I didn't need the heroin. I need this techniques and methods that was given to me from my doctors that I can use myself to heal myself. And like I was telling you, when you think about the universal laws and the cause and effect part of the universal laws, principle of the universal laws, I was creating my own reality whether it was good or bad. And so that part, the mental part, was kind of easy using this technique. Now I have to deal with the physical part.
Right.
The physical part was Agent Orange. Agent Orange had a range of diagnoses from cancer to acne of the body. So I was diagnosed with the epidemiology, the acne part of it, where I break out constantly. So I tried to find a way, I did find a way, where I could deal with the physical body. Not only was it the acne, it was the high blood pressure. It was tendinitis. It was peripheral neuropathy. And I can go on and on. My medical record, it reads like a dictionary, like an encyclopedia. All gone. All gone. Because of the techniques, the methods, and the different terms I use in my program. One more thing about the program is that if you think of Buddhism, or Hinduism, or yoga, and these are new terms for the West. These are things that I use, martial arts, while I was going through these treatment programs that became a part of my life. And I think the biggest one that opened my eyes up maybe 10 years ago was chakra, the 7 energy centers of the body. So I've used these techniques and these methods to heal, to actually heal from these different diagnoses, these different dis-ease of the body.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in living hell, and now I'm a little bit heavenly up, as you can say.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not, they say wake up. And I heard a young man say, when you say wake up, you're thinking of death. He said, say heavenly up. So I think these programs that I have are heavenly up me. You know what I mean? I use them every grand rising.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I started changing the terminology and enhancing on the techniques and methods. And it's working.
Incredible.
And I want to share it to other people. Next week, I want to give the people this chakra, opening how you open up the chakra from my standpoint, because there's so much writing about the chakra, and I'm quite sure that I do it different than Buddhism or Hinduism, but I want to give the people a session on how to create this energy in this vortex within the body, and how to open up these energy points and feel great about your day. So next week, hopefully we can get into that.